Welcome back to Dynasty Football Maniacs. All right, so here we go. We're doing our finishing out 24 still because you still have the college championship, and we are currently in the NFL bracket. We're not going to spend much time on that. Um, we've already made our picks for the college game on Monday. Both of us agree that Ohio State most likely will win that. On the new playoffs, we were shocked. I mean, some of the picks we had, wow. I didn't expect Texans to win. Neither did Austin, and they pulled it
No, I
off.
didn't. Yeah,
We
that surprised me.
I think we were both rooting for Ravens, and they got it. And we all knew Superman would pull it off, and he did.
Oh yeah.
I think the other shocker that kind of floored me was the Commanders over the Buccaneers with that little field goal kick.
Yep.
That didn't see that coming, and I think we were both leaning towards Vikings if he showed up, but Sam
Yeah,
Arnold didn't show up.
yeah, he didn't show up.
No, he definitely was not there at the game. Now, body wise, was. Um,
Well, I guess when he was playing, he had I guess for some reason his brain went to like when he was playing with the Jets. So that's the reason why he played the way he played because I guess he forgot that he was in Minnesota and not in New York.
I think it fell back all the way when he was at the Panthers.
Well, he was with the Jets before the Panthers.
Yeah, but the Panthers was even worse. So it's like,
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. I
yeah,
mean,
either
they're both
way,
bad.
it was bad. So the great matchups this week, this Saturday and Sunday is going to be great. I don't care what anybody says. If you're anything in the NFL football, right here, some like, just I don't know even know how to explain the matchups. I mean, they're great. The Chiefs against the Texans. We're going to say that one last because I got a lot of sarcasm with it. Uh, let's go with the Lions and the Commanders. I'm sorry. I love the Commanders. I love Jaden Daniels. I love the excitement. I really do. But I also love the excitement on the Lions. And I also love the energy of the Lions. And I really do think the Lions will end up taking out the Commanders. So my pick's going to be the Lions, hands down.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions too on that.
Now, I'm not saying Jaden Daniels and the boys ain't going to put up a fight. They might. But that's going to be an interesting game. The next game is this is all belongs to the Eagles. They could either do it or they don't do it. This is in your ballpark, guys. It's no one else is going to fail you. You're going to fail yourself if you fail. Now, I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm going to say fly, Eagles fly, and I want you to go all the way. But really, honestly, I'm secretly dreaming of two other teams, and really, it's kind of like a trio in my head. So I need to get it all out. And I know that's a little bit complicated for a lot of people thinking about three things at once, but I'm doing it. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go with the Eagles over the Rams.
Here's the this is a tricky game because I thought the Rams was going to lose last week, but they played they played so well, and in all honesty, I think as tragic, and I pray for everybody in the LA fires and stuff,
Definitely.
but I really think that just adds fuel to the Rams, and I think that they showed that they played on a different level last week. They really played on a different level. In all honesty, I really think the Rams are going to be fueled by this tragedy that's happened. And all honesty, I'm actually going with the Rams on this one.
Okay.
I just think they're playing on a different level now, and with the circumstances going on, they're going to want to put every single. They're going to put over 100% in this game. So I'm actually going to pull a set. I'm going to go with the upset on this one.
And I can't really argue that because in reality, I mean, the Rams are good enough to beat the Eagles. So I don't want to think that the Eagles are any bit better. I think they can pull it off, but I also know how talented the Rams are. And when they show up, it's very, very bad for everybody.
Right.
The next game is Superman against, I guess, Superman. You got two Supermans on the field. You got Lamar Jack. Well, actually, one team has like a Superman with another Superman, and it's like the other team I don't think has anybody but one Superman.
Right.
So you're going to have two Supermans on there. You're going to have Lamar Jackson, and you're definitely going to have. All right. So what I was saying, there's two Supermans on this team. You got Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Right now, Derrick Henry's a Superman. Derrick Henry's doing things he shouldn't be doing at 31. The Bills, they have the Bills, and the only thing on the Bills is Josh Allen. At the end of the day, this is going to be the scenario. Either the Ravens are going to choke like they always do in the playoff finals, and the Bills are going to pull it out and win it, or they're going to come out and they're going to set that on fire. So I am going to go ahead and put my thing, and I hate to do this to Superman from the Bills, but I'm going for the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go with the Ravens on this one too. They're just it's gonna be a really good game, and I see it being a shootout. But at the end of the day, I really think that the Ravens are just a better team, and I think they're gonna get it done.
Gotcha. So the next game, ooh, here comes the Swifties. Patrick Mahomes, the whole Kansas City drama thing. Well, I think Texans is coming in there. They're shutting you down. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the Texans are going to win that game. It's going to be an upset.
To be honest with you, I'm gonna go with you on this one.
Awesome. The other tidbit I wanted to say on this, it's exciting. And a lot of people probably don't dig this deep into it, but I'm going to dig this deep into it. So there was a trade way back in the day of two quarterbacks. One played for the Lions and one played for the Rams. And the funny scenario
I
is
know where you're going with this.
yes, the one played with the Lions forever, could never get it done, and never had the opportunity to get it done, never had the team to get it done. Then he went to the Rams and he won it, and that's Matt Stanford. The other guy that played for the Rams went to the Super Bowl with the Rams but didn't win it and got traded to the Lions, and here he is again going down that thing. So I think it would be, in my opinion, the greatest win and the greatest excitement is Jared Goff winning with the Lions, and then you say, well, it would have just took Matt Stanford that long if you'd have just stayed a little bit longer with the Lions. But who knows? I'm not saying that's the case.
I think a lot of the Lions and Jared Goff's success is the offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. I think it's a combination of both. Like Jared Goff is, he was average, but I think Ben Johnson in that offense has been giving them a lot and has been really bringing the best out of Jared Goff. So in all honesty, I kind of want the Lions just to win the whole thing because they haven't won it for one. They haven't won the Super Bowl at all, and I think it's really neat if they win it.
Right. So yeah, so that's where we're at on the playoffs. So today's show is mainly going to focus around the rookie quarterbacks, and then we're going to probably go into the regular quarterbacks later on. Maybe not in this show. We'll do some more things, and then we'll go into the next position. And it will kind of combine, like when we do the regular quarterbacks, we'll combine the rookies with the regular quarterbacks, kind of show where they're at. So the exciting thing about the NFL draft, I don't think the quarterbacks are going to fly off like they did previously, but then you never know how bad someone's needing a quarterback. And if they need a quarterback bad enough, they will trade up to ensure they get it if they feel like they're threatened in any way. That is just how the NFL operates, even if it's trash. And I'm not saying the two guys are trash by any means. That is wrong of me. Um, so I know the main teams that are looking for quarterbacks that possibly, well, we know three for sure. We got the Giants, we got the Jets, we got the Raiders. Saints could be shopping, and Dallas could be shopping, but it's going to be another year before anybody plays at Dallas because I can guarantee you they're not going to sit Zach Dak and get that deadhead money for a whole year. They're going to play him.
So right now, the teams that I see that's in like the top 10, obviously you got the Titans. I
Oh yeah,
mean,
Tennessee.
they're going to be in it. I mean, they're not going to stick with Will Levis. If they do, they're very questionable. But you got the Titans, number one pick, and then you got the Cleveland Browns. They're
They're
number
also
two.
in.
And
Yeah.
I know you saw the news too, where Deshaun Watson ruptured his Achilles again. Literally just this past couple weeks, he ruptured it again. I think at this point in the contract, Cleveland can actually void his whole contract at this point. He's done. There's nothing with him. So Cleveland's up, and then number three is the Giants. They're
Yes.
in need of one too. So I can see out of them three, I can see all three of them honestly going with a quarterback.
I do too with some of the quarterbacks that I've already declared. So I think there's a lot of
Right.
opportunity there. But
Right.
the
But then after
question is,
that, it's like after that though, the only other team that absolutely needs one would be like Las Vegas because they're picking at 6, and the Jets right now they're still question marks on if Rodgers is coming back or if he's playing or not. So that's up in the air as well. It's very questionable on that. But other than that, it's like few far in between. After that, that's when all the other positions are just going to go off.
so this is my advice to the Jets. Let it go. You ever watch that show on Disney? Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Frozen.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, do everybody an early Christmas present. Let it go. Um, I,
Dude, I agree. I agree.
okay. I didn't want to be mean. I love you, Aaron. Great job in Green Bay. You're done. Let's move
And
on.
I don't know if you've seen the documentary of his on Netflix yet,
Oh God, I couldn't handle watching that. Well, I'll
but
probably get drunk enough to watch it.
he needs to go retire and do all that. Just
Okay.
kumbaya and all that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even know he had a special on Netflix. So now I got to go look it up.
I
Now you're
watched
going to
it. It
torture
was,
me.
in all honesty, it's pretty interesting. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
is
not
it?
going to lie. Yeah, so check it
Oh,
out.
maybe he isn't. Hey, he's from California. They got a lot of entertainers out there. Um, so let's look at this here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we did the previous week. We're going to do something different this year. Last year we were kind of ranking them out. This year we're doing the same thing, but the difference is instead of us putting a number beside the guy, we're throwing them in because there's going to be times that me and Austin just can't settle with the guy below another guy or whatever. But I don't need Austin's help on tier one. I think him and me's already got tier one. We don't have an S for quarterbacks coming out, but we do have a tier one, and it's two players in it, and that's it.
Yep.
I don't think he wants to add anybody. I know I don't. So we know it's his. But both of them are guys. They're both our one and twos. It's just we have them mixed up. I have the one as one. I have
And
Cam Ward as one and Saunders as two. You have Saunders as
and
one. Cam Ward as two.
this could all change. This is very early.
Yes.
So
So
so that my opinion could change. I could throw Cam Ward up there, or I could actually throw somebody up there completely different that we don't even expect yet.
correct. So just looking at passing completion, yes, Saunders was number one last year. So if you look at the passing completion last year, and I didn't mean to just click on him as an individual. I was trying to show the whole chart. Gosh. So there we go. Thank you. Uh, right behind him was Dylan Gabriel, Haynes King from Georgia Tech, but he's not declaring. Will Howard and Real Rogers are all declaring. They're up into 70%, but the highest was 74%, which was Saunders. Cam Ward dropped a little bit on that one. He is number 12 at 67.2. But if you go to like passing attempts, well, actually, he's lower now. Passing attempts too. He's kind of dropped on all the charts. He's in the top 10 pretty much across the board, but so is Saunders. So it's like it's a back and forth. So and what shocked me is Garrett Nussmeyer for LSU has not declared yet, has he?
I have not seen anything yet, so it's still questionable.
I heard there's rumors he might stay another year because they lost their quarterback coming in.
Right. Well, right. I've saw the rumors too, but as of right now, I haven't seen anything official yet.
So I made sure I didn't put him on my list because honestly, he would have been on my list if I knew he was declaring. So what I was trying to do is do my best due diligence and try to eliminate the ones that Austin pre-jumped, which is fine. We both do that. I had got a chance to edit mine. He has not got a chance to edit his yet. But he only has one player on there that's declared, and I'm sure he's got a replacement to put him in there. It's just moving him
I,
up.
I do actually.
So who do you got? I'm curious on who's your replacement.
Well, obviously, and all honestly, since Carson Beck isn't going to be there, I would like kind of move everybody up one
I figured that.
because I haven't really seen any. After looking at it, I haven't really seen anybody else that kind of like made me say they need to jump up ahead of everybody. So,
Who's your guy looking in?
So my guy looking in is the guy from Purdue.
Oh, that's my number 19. Okay.
Right. So I got him in now since Carson Beck actually didn't declare any transferred.
Yeah. So okay, so we're still almost kind of coinciding here. So really, I only have one other player that you don't have, I believe, and we'll talk about that. And I think, well, if I have a player that you don't have, that means you have a player I don't have. Oh, I know who you have that I don't have. Never mind, I see him now.
Oh,
I'll give him a second. All right, here we go.
you're good.
All right, so tier one, we got Saunders from Colorado and Cam Ward. All right, so that moves on. That was a pretty simple discussion. I mean, we know Saunders pretty much led the pack. The only other person that's leading quarterback play right now, like in certain categories, passing yards, touchdowns, and stuff, is Kyle McCord. He's in our list. We didn't forget him, and I have a little bit more love for him than Austin.
Now after re-looking at everything, don't be surprised when we do a 2.0 version of this if you see him go up a little bit. And
Yeah.
in all honesty, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm actually in the 2.0 version. I'm actually probably going to put him at number 3.
All right, so that leads into my next segue. So tier two. This is just looking at me and his list. I figure we both okay. So he has Jalen Milroe as number three. I'm not a fan of Jalen Milroe. I have him at 6, but I'm fine with putting him at a tier two for the reason of this. He has a lot of raw potential. So if Austin feels that highly of him as a 3, I am fine with setting him in a tier two quarterback because I know if that's your third guy, you're going to want him in a tier two. So I get that. So I'm fine with that because of the raw talent that he does bring for running, and he does have a lot of high potential chance of throwing the ball if he's coached correctly. I think he needs the right coach to develop him. I don't think what Alabama this last year gave him was what he needed. And
So
I
I
think
got. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just had a perfect scenario for Jalen Milroe.
what's that?
So get this, if we get after the playoffs, and then somehow, Ben Johnson finally leaves Detroit and he finally takes the job. He goes out there and takes the job at Oakland. And then we get to the draft, and Oakland drafts Jalen Milroe. And we all saw how Ben Johnson can do with Jared Goff, who was a mid quarterback before he came to the Lions. So I think that would be a really good scenario for Jalen Milroe. I know there's a lot of moving pieces and stuff, but we're all into the what ifs and in the off season right now, anyways, because we don't know where players are going. So I thought, if we were trying to do scenarios of that, I think that would be a really cool fit for him.
Yeah, I like that. And so I mean, yeah, that would be a good fit. So that's going into our next group in the tier two. Um, Automatically kind of puts these guys in there with our rankings. You got Quinn Ewers. He's fourth on my list. Um, he's third on yours. Kyle McCord is my wait. Did I read that right? I might read that
Oh,
backward.
I got him at fourth.
You got him at fourth. I have him at third, and I have Kyle McCord as fourth.
Right.
And then you have Jalen Milroe as third. So basically, what we did on that is we pretty much put the three guys that I think are deserving to be in tier two is our threes and fours, and they're slightly different because your number 5 is Kyle McCord, but I believe he's equivalent to them two quarterbacks just by the stats. Now, I know that you seem like you're like, wait a minute, why are you doing that to Kyle McCord and he's at Syracuse? Let me say something, okay?
I wasn't thinking that
No, I wasn't, but there is people out there because I am an Ohio State fan. They're like,
because
what about Will Howard?
I was gonna suggest that we put Kyle McCord in the second tier.
Well, that's where he's at. It's the second tier.
Well, then we're gonna keep him there then.
Yeah. And that's where I feel like nothing, no disrespect to Will Howard. You're doing a great job at Ohio State. I think you're a great quarterback, but I don't think you belong in the tier two. I have you down as tier three, right behind Kyle McCord, just by the stats, performances over the years.
So will Will Howard start the tier 3?
Oh, it doesn't matter the order of the tier three. it just the players are in there. We don't have a specific order as we're naming them
Okay, I
off.
got you.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that because then we'll be like, debating who should be. But really, that's not too bad because you got Dylan Gabler. I'm sorry, Gabriel. Uh, so you have Will Howard 8. I have Will Howard 5. So I have him ranked up a little higher than you. But I honestly think just talking about the two former, one being a former Ohio State, went to Syracuse, and the one that's currently at Ohio State. When I'm putting them two side by side and looking at
Mhm.
the whole entire picture, I mean, there's reasons why things happen, and it wasn't Ohio State's decision to let the guy go. They just told him what they would not do, and that's why he left. But he has the talent, and it shows. I mean, he's number one in pass completion. He's number one in pass attempts. He's number he's number one in passing yards. So he's number one in passing yards, passing attempts, and passing completions. So overall, that's pretty darn good. I mean, I don't know if you could argue that.
No, that's pretty good.
The only thing that doesn't look too well, I mean, not that bad. Let's see where he's at on that. Well, passing completion thing, he's not up in the top 20. So that means he's just a little bit below. I think he's 62%, and his 66 is the top 20. But
Hmm.
still, that's not bad. Either
Right.
way, for college football, that's good. And I just like everything he's done. And comparing him to Will Howard, yes, he's in all these lists too. He's number 13 in passing completion. I don't even see him in passing attempts, so he doesn't pass as much. Then you go over passing completion. Yes, he's ranked 4. And in passing yards, he's not even ranked on that. So, oh no, he is. He's number 8. So he's number 8 on that. But passing attempts, he doesn't do as much passing, so he throws longer balls, I guess. But passing attempts is 420 is the lowest rank, 19. So,
I
eh.
like running the ball too, so
Yeah, Ohio State has that run thing too. So I mean, there you go. But that's how I feel about it. So we got Will Howard there, and looking at our rankings, you got Dylan Gabriel. I have Dylan Gabriel at 7-2. So I guess in that scenario, we could go ahead and put them both in a tier 3 because we both agree where he's ranked, and that's about the level we're at right now. So now the question is do we continue adding people to tier 3, or is it the tier dropped off? And that's the strong question. So we got Will Howard, we got Gabriel. Now we're looking at Curtis Rourke and Jackson Dart. Now, I'm not, if you look at these guys across the board, they're all equally ranked. They're all equivalent. I mean, to a point, they're all top in the top 20s. So, I mean, and they're not far from each other. So it's kind of like a struggle of like, should we put like it's mine is we're swapped on it. You and me are swapped on them two rankings. So,
I think this is just my suggestion. I think we throw both of them two in that tier and then we end it.
okay, I'm good with that because we still got 20 more players to go through.
Right. So I think
So,
we just add them two because they're still pretty good.
and they could really hit
They
high.
yeah, they could be a fourth round or fifth round sleeper.
I think they're
So
yeah, third round too. You can go
well,
third.
you could, yes, but I'm just going by the defensive heavily draft this year, so that's the only reason why I say that. But yeah, I say we just add them two and then we just end that tier and we just start the other one.
I'm with you on that. That's where I was going to go with it, but I wanted to see if you're in agreement. So that'd give us Curtis, and he did really well. I mean, he started at Jameson Madison, and then he transferred to
Indiana as a whole did pretty well this
yeah,
year.
that was impressive. All right, so we got that. Now we're going into tier 4. So we're looking at these rankings right here. I need to be over here, not over there all the time. I'm sitting there looking at these charts, and you guys are like, "Why is his head turned all the time?" Well, let's do this here. Let's reorganize this. For one, the blind man can't see, so let's do that. All right, here we go. So we're looking at this tier. Just let's name these off real quick. So here we are. Number 1, Sanders and Cam Ward in tier 1. Tier 2, we got Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers, and Kyle McCord. Now, how I see the NFL draft is I'm sure we're going to see Sanders and Cam Ward go in the first round. I have a gut feeling that one of them two quarterbacks that I'm fixing to name next will probably go in the first round towards the end. And it's either going to be Jalen Milroe or Quinn Ewers from Texas. I
To be
want to say Kyle McCord would go first round, but I don't think he will. He'll either go second or third.
well, to be honest with you, I could see them four going in the first due to the fact of them, the teams that we've named off that are needy in quarterback, they're going to probably reach, which they could trade back or whatever, but they're going to probably reach and grab them real quick, even though they probably really don't need to. But, but they also could fall back, to the end of the first round too, like you said. But I would be shocked if, but then again, the Giants shocked me last year when instead of going Jaden Daniels, they went with, they didn't trade up or anything. They just stayed where they are and got Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, that was a
So,
shock.
they could pull a Giants. So, but this is why we talk about these things because it's fun to
Yeah.
speculate of what they're gonna do and stuff.
And see, we still ain't even hit free agency time yet. So,
Exactly, because they could go out and get a veteran or something, and
yep,
then just say,
better.
"Oh, well, we'll just wait next year or something."
Mm-hmm.
So right now, we're just gonna go ahead and just like this is 1.0 of our list. We're just going ahead and lay it out there of who we're looking for and stuff. Everything will definitely be redefined as we go along this off season.
Definitely, because the first thing that's going to change everything is the declares. Because some of these right now we're pretty sure on the ones we're naming is declared. Some of them have not officially declared, but rumors have it they will. Um, that's one catch to it. The other caveat
Oh
to
yeah,
it is Senior Bowl. Senior Bowl could change this whole list in just a matter of
East West Shrine game too.
yep, yep. So like that's what happened to Will Levis. I mean, he wasn't on the radar, and then he was on the radar.
Yeah, he had the Senior Bowl, and then everybody started loving him.
Yeah, he became the top three. So
Exactly. And what a
this,
mistake that was.
yeah. So it can happen again. So let's move on to the tier four because we're going to try to go to tier seven if we can get that many. We wish we probably can because there's a lot of quarterbacks coming out.
Oh, we're gonna make it.
So I'm going to
Oh,
highlight this right here so I can see where we're at. So the next one we got, I think we're going to have a little debate here, but I'm fine with the debate. I'm good with the debate. So I don't want to put, I mean, really all three of these guys could go in there, but then Devion Smith, that'd be four. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I guess all four of these guys could go in there. I mean, this is up to you because one of them you have all the way down to 16, well, 15 now. I have him at 11. So let's talk about the first one. You have at 10, Riley Leonard for Notre Dame. I have Riley Leonard at 12.
hmm.
Okay. At 11, you have Donovan Smith from Houston. I have Donovan Smith down to 13, so we're close.
So we're just
Kevin,
like a
yeah,
couple spaces.
yeah, Kevin Jennings, you have at SMU. You have him at 12. I have him at 10. So how about we do this? I think honestly, I'm fine with taking Max out of that, Max Brosmer,
Hmm.
Minnesota, and I don't have a bad feeling in my heart to drop him right now into first rankings to a tier 5, and then we'll just put Riley Leonard, Kiddings Jennings, and Donovan Smith all in tier 4. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
And it's been kind of compromising there just a little bit because I mean there is
Um, Well, I
you
mean,
could have
we're so close to all of them three. I mean, it just makes
yeah,
sense.
and like this is a 1.0. This will drastically change throughout the year, so I can compromise dropping one of the guys that I have highly ranked that I would go for quicker than some of the other guys that you have. But that's where we both are viewing different things at different times, so we have a little bit focus on different individuals, and sometimes we teach each other something. Like there'll be someone you're looking at I never even looked at, and then I go look at it, I'm like, oh wow, that's impressive, and you do the same. So I mean, it kind of goes both ways.
Right.
Let's fill up here tier 4. So tier 4, we added Riley Leonard from Notre Dame, which is he's been doing a bang up job. He's fixing to play in the national championship against Ohio State this Monday. Woohoo! And then Donovan Smith from Houston had a pretty great season. And then Kevin Jennings, I mean, he was even on my radar. And then you watched him at SMU, you're like, oh, I like this kid.
They're pretty good.
Yep. So I will move Mac from Minnesota to tier 5, and we'll start him off there. And we're going to look to see who needs to go in there with them. So looking at our QB lists, so we started off tier 5 with Max Bozemeyer from Minnesota. Okay, this is where we're going to get a little tricky. I let you give me Max.
Yep.
There's just one guy I can't take right now. I'm going to put him in the tier. You have him ranked 15, but I just cannot put him in that tier with Max. I just can't get there. But I could take Brady Cook and put him there. And that's DJ Ungalui for Florida State. I'm not fascinated by him, not impressed by him. He has a lot of work ahead of him to be an NFL quarterback. I'm not denying his raw talent, but to me, I would put him more with the Hudson Card and stuff like that. That'd be the only thing I'd ask from you. I mean, I'm fine with Brady Cook and KJ Jefferson, definitely.
Well, we're just gonna do. Well, I got DJ as in the 6th, anyways.
Okay.
So I'm fine with doing all that. I can compromise on that.
Okay. So
I mean, to
that's,
be honest with you, I mean, he might not even be right there when I update this when we do in 2.0.
but you do agree Brady Cook needs to be in there,
No, Brady Cook. I mean, yeah, Brady Cook needs to be in there.
and KJ Jefferson is wow.
Okay, I will do KJ Jefferson, but that's as far as I'm going.
No, I'm with you on that. I'm not going any further than that. I feel like we'd be overdoing it.
Right.
So let's round off. So with you being like that, let's go ahead and I could go ahead. I mean, I'm gonna suck it up like a big boy. Put DJ Ungalow in 6, and that gives him a little bit of respect. Now I'm gonna let everybody know as a ranker out there, he is not even in my top 25, but he is in Austin's top 20, and we all look at players differently and we judge them differently. So Austin could have seen something I have not, and I'm not always right. Trust me, in either is Austin, but it's good to kind of get an insight of what other people think because there's been some great players he's picked out that I wouldn't even seen if he hadn't mentioned them, and I think I've done the same thing for him. So
Oh yeah.
I have looked a little bit at DJ. I'm not fond with him. Now Brady, on the other hand, I started watching some of him recently, and I was like, wow, okay. And he kind of moved up on my list. Actually, I was torn between him and Jefferson, which Jefferson beat him out for 14 on my list, and I put Brady at 15. But like in reality, I could flop them any minute because I mean, if he gets to the right team, right place, it could be a whole different story. And
Right.
I like them. Um, the next one, oh, we're pretty much on the same page on the next one. So I mean, right after I added DJ Ungaloa to, am I saying his name right? I think so.
Yeah, that's how I would say it.
Okay, so now I'm putting in Graham Mertz because we're both pretty much on Graham Mertz next. He's on next one on our list that we haven't named. So he goes in there with DJ for tier 6. And in tier 6, we have we're agreeing again. Garrett Green from West Virginia. So we're both on the same page. I think they both belong in that same. Actually, this quarterback and the next quarterback belongs here, and I think everybody else should go in tier 7.
I agree.
So I'm gonna add. Um, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud here. I'm gonna add Garrett Green and then one more quarterback, and this quarterback we both agree on too, Will Rogers from Washington. Then to round off the top tier 7, we're gonna put in our next guys that we got ranked to kind of give you guys our tier 7. So tier 7, starting off with tier 7, I'm gonna add Hudson Carr from Purdue. So my top 20 that's not in your top 20. So you had one in your top 20 I didn't have, which was DJ. Tommy Millette from Montana State.
He's like literally right outside. Like if I had to take out somebody else because they didn't declare, he would jump in my top 20.
Great. That was what I was hoping. I didn't know where he was at on your outside list.
Yeah, he's like since everything moved up, he's like 21 now. And then at 22, I had JT Daniels from Rice. So
Oh, that's
them,
another good one we need to put in tier two, seven. I was going to
yeah,
ask you,
them two, yeah, them two were like right there on the outside of it. So if you want to, we can throw them in tier 7.
and Drew Aller declared, right?
I think so. Pretty
I
sure
thought
he
so.
did.
We did, yeah. So we're going to add him to tier seven too, out of respect, because I think he's a really good quarterback. I just don't have him in my top rankings for the draft. I mean, who would? I mean, I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't either.
I mean, I'm fine with putting him in seven because I think it's a great spot for him.
Hmm.
Um, the other one you said was who now? I
Which
know.
one? JT Daniels?
Yeah, JT Daniels for Rice. He was originally at Georgia and he went on to other places and then he ended up at Rice.
Right.
So yeah, let me find him. JT Daniels, man, he had a career there. USC, Georgia, Jesus.
Yeah, I think he went everywhere.
He played at four different schools: West Virginia, Rice. So right now we got them four players in seven. Hudson Carr, which Hudson Carr could be one of them sleepers too, I think, looking at his talent. Tommy Millette could be a sleeper. Drew Allard, I think he's a backup guy. I don't ever see him really going farther than that. But you know, we could sit here and say all kinds of things about that, but we don't know. And another one that I want to throw out there, but I think he's way too down the list. I don't think we should even put him in tier seven. Never mind. Because I mean
I think I have an idea who you're talking about.
I was thinking about Jeff Sims for like Arizona or
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
figured you were gonna go there.
But then after I had to look at it, no. I mean, he is 58% completion. He's 215 pounds, 6'3". I mean, yeah, he had a great game, but the player of that game wasn't Jeff Sims. The player of that game was Scattaboo. So I mean,
Yeah, he didn't look really impressive in that game, so I
no,
think it's okay. We leave him out.
yeah, and he's right below the guy that right below him on percentage completion is Peyton Thorne from Auburn. Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I can't. I mean, no offense. I mean, and any of these guys could end up turning out to be stars because at the end of the day, we don't know what they could bring to the NFL and what the NFL sees in them. Because some people that we think don't belong there end up being there.
right.
Now, one I tossed with was the quarterback from BYU. He did great, but then I was like, just something about it. I just don't feel good. He's on one of the lists that he has these moments, but then he don't. And he's only a 60%
Right.
completing. So I mean, I'm not saying 60% is well compared to some of the guys in the top. It's not the like I don't know. Saunders is what he's 72.
70 something.
Yeah, and his OVR is 90.5, and then Cam Ward's is 89. Yeah, so there's a big difference in these players, but a lot of it's going to tell us there in the Senior Bowl. I'll make sure I didn't hit the keyboard and the combine. I think they're going to be the key, but I feel like we need to put one more quarterback in here just to kind of round off the top seven to give people something to look at.
Who you got?
I'm torn on the fence. So let me look at this and let me tell you I want to see your thoughts. So I have two quarterbacks I'm looking at,
Hmm.
and it might not be even yours. I mean, think of Virginia Tech's Colin Sheely.
Hmm.
And then I'm also looking at Tyler Sowell from the Cardinals. So
Oh, I, I haven't really looked at him. I was looking at that the quarterback from Wake Forest.
yeah,
Oh,
I looked at him too. So I mean, so like where's he at on your rankings? Do you have him in the top 25?
he would be right. He ain't in the top 25, but he'll be like right up under JT Daniels from on if he's like on the outside still, not too far. He's just like
So who do you have in your top 25 that we don't have on this list?
top 25. Okay, well, yeah, no, he's definitely in my top 25 then.
Okay. Oh man.
And then let me
Tough.
see. I got a couple more spots. So yeah, I would add the Virginia Tech kid.
You would add Virginia Tech. That's who I was kind of looking
I
at.
add the Virginia Tech kid, and then I'm all stuck on the fence. You said the Cardinals, dude, but I'm on the fence with from the quarterback from James Madison. I was looking
Oh,
at him too. I really think I have to go to the edge on the Dylan Morris from James Madison.
oh, I didn't even think about James Madison. He is declared, ain't he?
I think he has, yes.
All right, so we're definitely putting the West Virginia guy in there, or Virginia Tech. Say his name right. And then he's a dual threat quarterback, and that's kind of what the NFL looks for backups, especially. It's not saying he'll. Well, I mean, he got pretty good stats. Time will tell. Time will tell when all this stuff starts unfolding in the next couple of weeks. But the thing is, a lot of this is not going to happen until like we still got to wait until after the championship. So
Yep. I mean, he could really go out there and impress everybody in the bowl game, in the Senior Bowl or the East West Shrine game, whichever one he's in.
I'm looking for that James Madison guy. Let me see. What was his name again? Let me type him in.
Dylan Morris.
You can tell Dylan Moore or Morris.
Morris.
Yeah, Dylan Moore. Oh, I spelled Dylan wrong. That's why I couldn't find it. I was spelling it with a D-I like Dylan Gabriel. It's D-Y-L-I-N.
Oh yeah.
D-Y. Yeah. Yeah, see, now he pops right up when I start typing his name. Hmm. Well, let's look at this kid here. James Madison. All right. Well, that is impressive. Okay, he's not bad. Okay. So this is his final year. Total yards in the career is 3,721. All right, we'll add him to the tier. I'm good with that. Put him at tier 7. Why not? Get a little bit of love
You can
there.
throw the Louisville kid in there if you want to.
Oh, I'm okay. We'll do that. We'll give us a good little list right there, and that'll round it off. We'll be done with that. So we'll go through these names real quick. Tyler Sowell. He's a big guy. He could be a tight end. I'm looking at him like,
Yeah, I
why are you
know it.
quarterback? And I mean, you look like a tight end, and that could end up happening in the NFL. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I've seen players leave college and end up playing a
It's
different.
happened before. They switch to tight end or they switch to wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, because of the talent. I mean, they're not where they need to be for a quarterback, but they're definitely where they need to be for that other position. A lot of these guys can play multiple positions too, so it's helpful.
Exactly.
We're going to add him. All right, so that's looking like a pretty good tier list for quarterbacks. I think we did pretty good on this one this year. I mean,
I think we did too.
for the quarterbacks coming out, I mean, it's not like I mean, they're good quarterbacks, but they're like the top one, two would probably be my 7 and 8 from last year. Just being
Oh,
honest with you.
oh, definitely.
So I mean, that's where I'm at on the quarterbacks. Um, what we're gonna do next week is we'll keep this in mind where we got our tier sevens, and we'll kind of go through the pros of the current quarterbacks that are out there and rank them in a tier, and then at the end of the show, just let's mix these two tiers up and see what it looks like. So
Sounds
just
fun to
to
me.
running through the list here, we got one, Shedeur Sanders in tier 1 with Cam Ward from Miami. Guys both had great seasons this year. I mean, they were just slinging the ball. If you watch any tape on them guys, you can see what I'm talking about. It's just dropping dimes. Um, I'm not as hyped up as Sanders, but I know he has a lot of potential. He has raw potential. I think he's a mid-average quarterback. I don't think he'll be ever ranked higher than 15 in the NFL. But that's just my opinion, and I'm gonna tell you, my opinion ain't always right. But I did get Caleb Williams right now. That was so wrong because it's not all his fault either.
I just wait till we get somebody.
Yeah, but number two, tier 2, you got Jalen Milroe from Alabama. I think he's got a lot of raw talent. Me, I would have probably dropped him down a little bit further, but honestly, I can't deny the raw talent. So if someone picked him up, someone could coach him, someone can mold him, and someone could turn him into a decent quarterback. And Quinn Ewers, he's a good quarterback. He's a pocket passer. He's not a rusher, but he is a good pocket passer. If he has a good O line, good offensive line, good wide receivers, good tight ends, you could see a lot of good he could do. Kyle McCord, I think he's also in the same situation as Quinn. I think if he's put in the right offense, you can see a very productive quarterback. And that rounds off our tier twos, going in our tier threes. In all honesty, all four of these guys in tier three could be competing with all three of them guys in tier two. I just think that whole group of five right there is the next group up above Sanders and Cam Ward, but this is just the order we put them in at the moment. And Will Howard starts off that list with Dylan Gabriel, Jackson Dart, and Curtis Rourke. All these guys had great performances from last year. Um, if you ever get a chance, really dive in. Don't watch the Ohio State game with Curtis Rourke. It was a little bit not there, but watch some of his other games and watch some of his games from last year. Really looks good. Jackson Dart has done a really great job at Ole Miss throughout his years with Ole Miss, and a lot of people don't credit him for the plays he's made, and he is a quarterback. Now, is he starting caliber for NFL? We don't know yet. Dylan Gabriel, he's my Mariota. Sorry, he's going to give me 2 good years.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I'm sorry. And Will Howard, like I said, he's equivalent to the other three, but I still think he needs the right situation. Going in our tier four, and all these have got high potentials. You got Riley Leonard, Notre Dame. To me, he's not a pocket passer. He's a rusher. I ain't really seen him settle in the pocket. Donovan Smith, I have seen him settle in the pocket and also kind of run. And Kevin Jennings, the same thing. Both of them can do that. So that's your tier four. I don't think a lot of people looked at Max Rosemare from Minnesota. But if you go back and watch his tapes, we got him in tier five with Brady Cook and KJ Jefferson. He's got a pretty impressive throw and he's got a pretty good pocket present. And he's a really good athlete. And I think Brady Cook is also the same talent. So it's like Missouri and Minnesota. How about that? I didn't even notice there were two M's there. Oh, I'm sorry. And then KJ Jefferson with UCF. He's done great. Um, tier six, yes. At this moment in time, I'm not a DJ Ungaloa fan. And not that I'm being mean to the guy. I've watched him play at Clemson throughout his career. I just think he's not the guy. Austin has him high up a little bit, but I'll be honest. The last 2 years, I've not watched much of his tapes, so I've never really put him back in my class of 20. So I think I might need to go back, dive in, take a little look, see what I'm missing because it's just not Austin saying his name. He is mentioned in some of these pre-drafts, and it hurts me every time I hear it. I'm like, why can't you remember? Can't you remember the
Mm.
past? But
Yeah,
that's
but
just
we've
me.
we've seen some quarterbacks who's had iffy college careers, but come out and do pretty good in the NFL. It's very rare, but it has happened.
True. Then you got Graham Mertz from Florida, Garrett Green from West Virginia, and Will Rogers from Washington. Now, Will Rogers last year would have been higher up for me, but this year to me, it seems like we lost value. But then I might be overlooking things. I might be just pushing it too hard. But I just feel like there was a change. There was a swift change. And I can't, and no, I'm not referring to Taylor Swift. That's the Chiefs. This is not the Chiefs. This is Washington. Get it all right. But I guess that could kind of, that guy looks like well, yeah, I'm not even
It's
going.
everywhere.
It's everywhere. All right. So let's round out the biggest class of all, the tier seven. We got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven quarterbacks in it. How about that? Tier seven with seven. Hudson Card, he just barely lost his sixth step. I mean, I sat there and I tossed it around. He could be in the six, but seven is good for him right now because we got to see what he's going to do. Spring ball, what is he going to do in the combine? I think a lot of that's going to be telling story. Tommy Millette put on a great show in the championship game against North Dakota, Montana State. Uh, he is a rusher, but he is a thrower. I think he needs to put on a little weight. Kind of reminds me of Tom Brady when he first came out. Really too small, going to get smacked up, break a leg. Drew Aller, I don't know. I'm gonna just say he has talent, but he needs to be worked on. And then J.D. Daniels, he finally finished out his career at Rice after four other schools. And we got Colin Sheely from West Virginia Tech. And and Dylan Morris from James Madison, and then Tyler Shaw from Louisville. So this is our rookie tier for 2025 draft. So if you like the content, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And what do you always say, Austin?
Make sure you share because sharing is caring.
That's right. Sharing is caring. So just remember next year, not next year. Jesus, we're already into the next year. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to break down the top quarterbacks, how they finished in scoring this year for the NFL. And then we're going to rank them out, and they're not going to finish in rank by how they score. You don't do it that way, okay, guys? I would think you would, but you don't. And you can't because each year is different. Like Lamar Jackson ain't always number one. Josh Allen's normally number one. This year is a little different. Patrick Mahomes, he hardly ever breaks the 20s, but he's still a miracle worker. So you still have to rank him. And he's usually ranked higher than most quarterbacks. Why? It's not that he can't produce talent, he can't produce the points in fantasy. He produces that on an average of 20 points a game, which is pretty impressive for a quarterback. The difference between him,
he's just really consistent.
he's consistent. That's right. And then when he does fall off, he falls off for real.
Yep.
He's the guy that'll get you 6 points or zero and then turn around and score you 36. And you're like, ugh. But you love him for it because the rest of his team performs very well, even when he doesn't perform. So it's like one person falls, the next group comes up, and a miracle happens. And then the Kansas Chief God comes down, and football just continues. So just throw that out there. I really do believe there's one up there, the big red. I'm looking for you.
Yeah.
I believe he's there. So yeah, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and always share. And see you guys next week.